Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video. In today's video, I'm going to be predicting the Mbilli versus Gongora fight. If you are new around here though and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you didn't like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, going into this fight, Mbilli is 23-0 with 20 KOs, and Gongora is 21-1 with 16 KOs. This fight is for the WBA International and WBC Continental American Super Middleweight titles. Mbilli's last fight was a win via unanimous decision versus Alexander, and Gongora's last fight was a win via TKO in round 4 versus Rio Jas. Mbilli is 27 and Gongora is 33, so that 5-year age gap, 6-year age gap between the two fighters. Gongora's only loss came via split decision versus Richards in 2021. It was a tough fight for Gongora. Richards has a very negative style and it's tough to break him down, and Gongora just couldn't quite do that, and I suppose it shows that he kind of is the maximum he can get to with his ability. Not saying that Richards kind of outclassed him in any way, but it's just Gongora just couldn't really break him down, and so I mean it's fair enough. I mean, he's never been stopped, and he is a very good, I suppose, gatekeeper in a way for this division, for finding out who can get to what level, whereas he's done that with a few fighters now. Mbilli as a fighter is explosive, fast, powerful, fun to watch, very good, had a very good amateur career. He's fighting at home kind of. I mean, he's fought at this place in Canada quite a few times now. I forgot what the venue's called. So I'll kind of call this at home. He has brutal KOs and he's a very fast starter. So overall, a very good fighter. That explosiveness and that fast starterness, I suppose, if that's even a word, is something that is very difficult to counter, and a lot of fighters struggle with against him, and that I suppose kind of links us to why he is so fun to watch. And yeah, he does have that power and he does throw with that power. Some of the kind of downsides of him is he can overcommit at points. Like I said, that explosiveness, if you can counter it and predict it, which is hard to do, he kind of does overcommit and leave himself open at points. He isn't overly accurate. Like I said, kind of links with the overcommitment bits. Can be outsmarted, like I said, countering his explosiveness. He will look for the knockout, so he will go in recklessly at points, and he does kind of slow down somewhat in the later rounds. Not saying he hasn't got good conditioning, but he's just not used to being the later rounds as much. And I don't think he's ever fought a 12-round fight, and this is another 10-round fight. So yeah, no, I don't think he's not used to that yet, and he does kind of slow down the later rounds. So I suppose that's something that Gongora is going to want to look at there. Gongora has the height and reach advantage. He invites you in. He's powerful. He catches opponents off guard. He turns up in the later rounds. He eases his way in. He's a southpaw. He has a very good uppercut and has good timing. That kind of catches opponents off guard is something which I always find interesting. He'll be, I suppose, a little bit passive at points and just kind of, like I said, invite the fighter towards him, and then all of a sudden he'll just switch it and then just throw a couple, and that will catch and has caught a lot of his opponents off of guard in the past. The fact that he can turn it up in the later rounds, he isn't really as fast of a starter, or really a fast starter at all, compared to Mbilli. And he just kind of works his way up and up and up, and by the later rounds he still has a lot of energy to work with. That southpawness is something that's going to be interesting. The tall and I suppose lankier southpaw is something which I always find interesting as a kind of style of fighter. He's going to have to use that height and reach and not kind of let Mbilli in too much. That uppercut is something which I'll be looking towards, because when fighters do come in, Gongora does like the uppercut and he does seemingly time it well, and that would be something interesting to see if he can time it well against the times where Mbilli may overcommit. Gongora can be outworked and does struggle with that at points. He takes a lot of punishment, takes a lot of shots, and against Mbili's power, I don't know if he can afford to do that. But I mean, overall, he's, other than that kind of, I suppose, slow startedness as well, he's not got too many kind of downsides to his style. It's just, yeah, it's just a bit passive at points, I suppose. This is arguably Mbili's toughest test. Like I said, this is why he is a good gatekeeper, Gongora, and this is gonna be a good matchup and a good fight, hopefully. Mbilli is the favourite for this fight, and I think that Mbilli will win via split decision. I think it's going to be a very close fight. I mean, I've kind of been and ahhing about who I think is going to win this fight, and I have settled with Mbilli just because he has, of course, that home advantage. I think in the first few rounds, probably up to maybe the fifth, sixth round, I think he might just be able to kind of outwork him and be able to get the punches off in them earlier rounds compared to Gongora. But Mbilli is going to have to watch out and try and be smarter and not be outsmarted as easily, to be able to stand a chance against Gongora in the later rounds. But I think he will just about do it. But it'll be a very close and good fight. And then I suppose if it is a split decision and it is that kind of close of a fight, you're not going to want to move him up too much. Of course, there's that big fight with Sajo. Everybody wants that fight to happen. I don't know if I've pronounced his name right, but that is a big fight. Bazinian I've put as an option. They're both kind of at similar points in their career, arguably. So I could possibly see that happen. I mean, in Canada, would be a good fight, would be a very good fight in my opinion. Or Belanga, I think, is another very good fighter. I think possibly too good of an opposition for maybe if Mbilli only just kind of scrapes past Gongora. If he convincingly wins versus him, then Belanga might be kind of seen more as an option. But I suppose if he wants to go down the kind of American continental route, then I'd say Bazinian is maybe the fighter to fight. Maybe go down the North American route, and of course still work his way up the world rankings as well. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like if you did, like this, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.